Gary Brabin, we've already done 2 interviews. First one when you came to the club initially, then we did a second one just to get an idea of what you were going to bring to the table. Here we are, we're in the second half of the season. In a general way, because it's a big question of course, how's it going for you personally?
Yeah, I think it's gone really well. I think results help. The lads are doing really well, so that always makes things a lot easier, and I think as a whole I'm pleased the way it's gone.
And there is so much that we could talk about, but today we're going to focus on the recruitment of the club. Again, there's a lot we could talk about just within that. But when you came to the club, what have you brought to the table again in terms of taking the recruitment side forward?
I think when I first come to the club, I was conscious of being in a role that I'd have appreciated as a manager. So looking at it from Anthony's point of view, so I've tried to give him the help and support that he needs and try and make his job as easy as possible. I think that's gone well, and I'd like to think me and Anthony have got a good working relationship. From the recruitment side, I think I'm just bringing other ideas. And what I've tried to do, one of the things right throughout the club is have a bit more structure and a bit more accountability throughout the club, and that's no different with the recruitment side. We've got a good little team now, and I'd like to thank them because people, we've got John Rhodes, who's been at the club for a few years, who's been a massive help. Kenny McKenna, ex-manager, again he's helping out with the recruitment side. He's been a massive help. And of course Anthony and Sarge as well, they're hands-on, fully hands-on. We just try and present the players before they have a final say on them players, and I think it's worked quite well. So I think definitely I'm delighted with the team that we've got in the selection process, especially when the timing of it, when we were getting prepared for Europe at the end of the season, and we knew we had to bring players in quickly. And I think the proof has shown that it's worked well, but there was a lot of hard work gone into that, and like I said, I'm delighted with the recruitment process.
And we made 4 signings ahead of the season. It's true to say that they've all been excellent additions to the squad here at Park Hall.
Yeah, but I think any club will tell you, it's difficult. Recruitment, it's arguably the hardest part of any job in football. And it's not necessarily just picking the best players. Then players have got to settle into your philosophy and the environment, and settling. It might be moving home. So there's a lot of things to take into account, and luckily enough the lads have come in and they've all settled down really well, and they've been a big plus for the side.
And when you look at the players that we brought in, they do actually have a very good pedigree. How important is it that TNS is a regular player on the European stage in terms of attracting talent into the club?
Yeah, and I think it's the owner's ambitions always to continue to be the champions of the Welsh League, and it's his real passion is to do well in Europe and in the Champions League. And we had a great run last year in Europe. I think it was 4 games we won and a draw, which is the most we've won in a year. So we've done really well in terms of the performance from the lads was outstanding as well. So it was good to build on that. I think we've carried that into the season. The lads have done great this year, and we look forward hopefully to another European campaign next year, and hopefully the Champions League.
And as you look back on that European campaign, obviously looking ahead to possible summer signings that may be imminent once the season has ended, will that campaign be a big plus in selling it to players who perhaps have got 2 or 3 clubs interested in them, whereas what we did last time and hoping to do better this time round could be that little difference that could get their signature here rather than somewhere else?
Yeah, it is. I think it's always difficult to try and attract players from outside your league. When we have got the draw of playing in Europe, but that's been difficult the last few years because we haven't been the champions and haven't been able to sell the Champions League dream as such. But I think winning the games as well is important, because people will look and go, well, Most of the Welsh sides will go in Europe and play one game and then they're knocked out, and so I think it's important that you strengthen that campaign, and I think we certainly done that last year with, like I said, 4 wins and a draw in Europe. You know, it was excellent, and even in the end, the way we went out, I think we gained a lot of respect with the way the lads performed and with the results, and you know, hopefully we can carry on, because that's got to be the long term, the aim of the club.
And sometimes when we say farewell to Europe and we get involved in the domestic campaign, has there been a little bit of a slow starter, maybe a European hangover? The fatigue side of things has had an effect upon the players. That wasn't the case this time round, though. We started well, we've continued to do well. Has that been a surprise to you at all, or were the things set in place to deal with the transition of playing in Europe one week and then in the Welsh system the next?
No, I don't think it has been a surprise. I think the lads definitely raised the levels and showed what they're capable of in Europe. You know, some of the performances in Europe were absolutely outstanding, and you know, to carry that on into the league was always going to be tough, but the lads haven't. You know, full credit to Anthony and Sarge. You know, they're on the grass with them every day, and you know, demanding them standards. And the lads, they're a good bunch of lads. You know, that's part of the recruitment as well. It's okay identifying players, but they've got to be the right type of character that you know is going to come in and have that work ethic and be part of the, you know, the culture and the environment that TNS has created over the last few years.
And Brabs, with your experience in the English system, you have so many contacts. I know whenever I've been sitting by you on the team bus, we've been going somewhere, your phone is always on the go. You're talking to this manager or that player or this contact or whatever, not just business, but also in terms of friendship and relationship as well. Again, that list of contacts that you've got in the game must have been invaluable in terms of the recruitment that we've been able to make.
Yeah, I think it is important, because as well as, you know, helping TNS, I want to promote the league. I want to, you know, help promote this league, because I do think it doesn't get the recognition it deserves. And by me promoting the league, you know, it does become more interesting to players who aren't familiar with it, and you know, maybe a little bit easier in attracting them to come and play for us. And you know, it's an ongoing progress, you know, in terms of you've always got to be out there and promoting the club and promoting the league, and you know, and just waiting for them opportunities. And you know, we have regular meetings about recruitment, about what we're looking for going forward. And you know, like I said, them names that I mentioned earlier, John and Kenny are always on the road watching games, and between the three of us, you know, we're sieving through what we think would be good fits for the club, and passing them on to Sarge and Anthony, and you know, they're spending a lot of hours as well watching these players on videos, etc. And you know, so there's a lot of care and attention goes into the recruitment side, and you know, it really is a team effort.
And we've just come through another transfer window, notoriously harder to sign players than it is in the summer. Were you surprised that you got Alex Dennie, who had been on your radar for a while?
Yeah, I think Alex is someone that we know. I think it was a friend of Sarge's, knew there was an opportunity that we could get someone like Alex. Obviously, I'd worked with him in the past, so you know, we had a bit of in-depth know-how about Alex. And you know, once we invited him up and he seen what we're about, and you know, like I said, it's all new to him, the league and the club, and he come here and he's loved it. And you know, once we got him in the building, it wasn't easy. You know, it wasn't hard to convince him to sign. You know, I think he's really felt at home here, and you know, he's really enjoying his time here. And it's, you know, it's yeah, we see him as a really good signing. Still only 20 years of age. You know, he's played international level through all the ages, and great upbringing at Everton's academy. So you know, I think it's a real sign of the times that we're signing young players with that, you know, with that potential.
And as you say, you knew him when you were a coach at Everton, and he was there as a player. Did he particularly stand out at that time? Is he someone that these years later down the line you remembered him and there were particular attributes that jumped into place, and you thought, yes, he will be a good fit for the New Saints? Yeah,
I remember when I went into Everton at the time, you know, it was Alex was the one that I had high hopes of. and you know, he certainly lived up to that. You know, I think he made his debut in the Europa League for Everton, I think it was, and you know, it was certainly a European Cup game where he made his debut for Everton. So, you know, he's certainly been, you know, lived up to his reputation, you know, and he's gone out and put himself in man's football and adapting to that, and probably hasn't played as many games as he wanted to, and it was an opportunity for us to sort of steal him from under the noses of everyone and bring him here, and you know, thankfully he's come and he's enjoying his time here.
And although one transfer window closes and the other one is still some months away, lots of football to be played, is it true to say that there's no rest for the wicked, as they say, because you will still be working with Ken, Sarge and John behind the scenes, identifying players that you can bring into the meetings that you have with Anthony and discussing the next bout of signings?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as cutthroat as like we know who the next signings are. I think what we're sort of always looking ahead. You know, we've sort of come here with, you know, we knew when we first come in, me and Anthony come in pretty much near enough the same time, that recruitment was going to be key. So our short-term goal was to attract better players and get, you know, try and make a better side in preparation for Europe and the start of the season, which, you know, we feel happy with what we've done so far. And then you'd have to have long-term goals as well, long-term aims of trying to improve the side. And, you know, we're mindful of the age of players and, you know, who will be next. And, you know, you mightn't always get that first target, you know. So between us, it's not just about going out and looking for one specific player. It's covering the areas which we've sort of circulated and knowing them inside out. So when we are looking for a certain position, we know what, you know, where to look, and we're well armed with the facts of them individuals, and there's a lot of work going into it. It's non-stop, but, you know, like I said, it's my job as well now to try and keep going out there, promoting the club, promoting the league, and trying to attract them players even when we need them.
It's true to say that when you came to the club that you inherited a very good squad. The additions have made it into an excellent one. Does that make it easier for future transfer windows and the identification of players, because it's not as if you've got to clear everyone out and bring 11 new players in? You're identifying perhaps one or two key areas with quality players rather than numbers.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, it was busy. We spoke to a lot of players when we first come in, and it's, you know, I think it's people, once they sort of get a bit of interest, you know, they sort of always keep one eye on it. And it's funny, like, after you've spoken, for whatever reason, one thing hasn't happened, or someone hasn't signed, or whatever, you know, you seem to, you know, the success of Europe, if you like, and the way we started the season, and them agents are getting back in touch now and asking if there's still an opportunity for them players to come in. And so you know, it is making people realise and take notice, and, you know, we have to continue to do that, and you know, we've just got to be ready even when the players become available.
And do you find as well that the club is on an upward curve, definitely, not only Europe but the domestic season so far, that agents would perhaps approach you as opposed to you having to do the chasing in the first place?
Yeah, no, I think I mean, listen, there's been a lot of good work gone on at this club, you know, over the years, you know, however many years it's been going, and, you know, the owner has sort of staked down what he wants and expects, and, you know, we've all, you know, people before me, we've all sort of worked along them lines of what's expected. And, you know, like I said, we've had a couple of years where we've been disappointed, where we haven't won the league and we haven't had the success which we strive for. So we've just had to sort of shape things up a little bit more structure, a little bit more you know, work around the scenes, and get back on top, and, you know, hopefully that's where we are.
Brabs, thank you for your time today.
Cheers,
we
Stu.
very much appreciate the insight into what goes on at the club, particularly with recruitment.
Brilliant.